10B, adopt a resolution authorizing the city manager to execute a construction contract with Foam Experts Roofing, Inc. in the amount of $32,500 and approving a construction budget of $37,500 to replace the roof for pump station number 6. Mr. Shannon.
Good evening, Mayor and members of the City Council. It's a pleasure before you tonight to discuss the first of two construction contracts related to Pump Station 6. Pump Station 6 is a neighborhood pump station located at the Corporation Yard. It's situated adjacent to Well 17. Typically, water from Well 17 is pumped up and into the Pump Station number 6 holding tanks, where then it's distributed into Pressure Zone 1, which is the surrounding neighborhood of the pump station. Unfortunately, the roof that houses the pump station is failed and has leaked quite a bit over the last couple of years and is in dire need of replacement. As well, the interior holding tanks, which there are two 50,000-gallon concrete holding tanks inside the pump station, the interior coating of those tanks is also showing signs of wear and age, and those need to be replaced as well. So to both save time in terms of the amount of time that the well would be down, we want to coordinate these projects together, and so we came before council just back in August requesting authorization to proceed with both the roof replacement and the tank recoating. And so what I can do is I can start with the roof portion, and then I can pause there and take questions there. Or I can motor right on through to the tank recoating as well. So
just do the first item, the roof
Great.
first.
So the roof. So as I mentioned before, the roof has been failed in a couple places and needs to be replaced. Not only is it subject to leak, but it's also subject to long periods of standing pools of water several days after the rain has left. And so when staff had originally conceived the project, we would think that one, there might be some damage that needs to be repaired to the roof itself, as well as to create some pitch where we could make sure that we could eliminate those standing pools of water. As we put the specifications together and we did a closer inspection of the underlying wood of the roof, that was actually in really good shape. So there was actually not a real problem with the roof itself. It was the tar and gravel application above it which was essentially leaking through. That allowed us to opt for a better construction alternative, which is spray polyurethane foam roofing, where what happens is you prep the existing tar and gravel roof, you sort of vacuum up all the loose gravel, prep the surface, and you lay down a layer of foam with a protective top coating, which would which you can apply the foam in such a way you can get the slope you need without having to reconstruct the roof to do some runoff. And we had expected that those would result in some lower bid prices. And so when we put this project out to bid to a number of contractors, roofing contractors in Northern California, we were disappointed to get only the one bid back, but we were happy at the price, which is $32,500, which is quite a bit below what we originally thought we would have to pay for a new roof. The low bid was submitted by Foam Experts Roofing, who are well known in California for spray foam applications. They've done work for a number of agencies in Northern and Central California, and we feel pretty confident going forward with them. We expect that they're aware of our need to get this done quickly before the peak of the rainy season hits, and so we expect to begin construction very quickly and complete by the end of October. And so we have a contract amount for $32,500 with a 15% contingency of $5,000 for a total construction budget of $37,500. And pause there and maybe take any questions.
Good. Any questions regarding the roof?
Just to clarify, the contract or the roofer has stated that there is no modifications needed to the structure?
Right, yeah. We had two different contractors come and look at the site, and they both thought it was very straightforward application. Looked like everything was in really good shape.
Great.
Good.
Through the chair, that was my question, but you've answered it and re-answered it. It's about a 10-year lifespan?
20-year.
20
year. Yeah, so it comes with a 20-year manufacturer's warranty.
Experience in applying for
tar and gravel does not.
Right, the tar and gravel does not.
Okay, so sorry, it is 20. And you were saying that we're happy with this vendor even though there was just the one. And it was based on some of your background information of what and where else this person has, this company has worked. So
right.
Can you give me a couple that
Yeah, they have to fill out a pretty extensive pre-qualification questionnaire. They have to have a number of years of experience, so many square footage. The one I can think of, Chabot College across the bay, they recently completed work there. Another public agency in Visalia, which I can't recall at the moment. Primarily, there were two in Northern California, plus the Chabot College. Called all three of those project owners. They were extremely happy with foam experts. They thought they were pros. They know what they're doing, and they get in and out of there quick.
Thank you.
Anything else?
Through the chair.
Michael?
The city manager partially answered my question via email earlier, but I was wondering if the substructure of the roof is going to remain intact and you're just going to spray foam over it, if there's still a need to empty out the tanks and do the prep work that was going to be required when the entire roof was going to be restructured. And this has more to do with the second item, but maybe you can explain to me a little bit more about what's involved in prepping that roof for the foam.
Right. So staff would like to take the pump station offline during the construction process, just as an added precaution. So the tar and gravel roof does stay in place, but there's sort of a lot of rough and tumble that's going to go on top of the roof in terms of clearing the gravel, doing some other preparation of the roof surface that I'm not 100% sure on what the exact technical pieces are. But we do know is that the roof slats that are in good condition, it's not a super thick structure, and so you actually see the nail holes sort of poking through the underside, and so there is gaps there that could allow dust or some other debris to fall through into the holding tanks. And there's no cover over the holding tanks inside the building. It's just sort of the roof and then the holding tanks.
Okay.
And so I think for those reasons, we just play it safe and take everything offline.
Okay. And just in terms of background, I've been in that building before, but it's been a while. Can you remind me what else is in that building? Is there a portion of that building has offices in it?
Yeah, so I would say maybe about a third of that building is actually the tanks. And then the other 2/3, there's the actual pumping equipment. There's a material storage area. There's the computer area where we host our SCADA equipment. And then there is another office area there as well.
Okay.
And so, yeah. Yeah.
And in terms of the uniqueness of that facility, we don't have holding tanks like that anywhere else in the city. Is that fairly unique?
I don't think so. So.
No.
Yeah, that's the only clear well we have. It holds within an active pump station. The rest are sort of the larger million-gallon holding tanks that we have around the city.
Okay. And again, my interest there is just that I just want to make sure that we're thoroughly analyzing the investment in aged infrastructure versus moving forward and getting away from things that are becoming quickly obsolete. And I think you guys have done the analysis, and really doing something different is really well beyond our budget at this point. So I just kind of wanted to stress that. I mean, we've looked at options, and keeping this one going is, at this point, the only viable option.
Correct. I mean, I think that point is well taken by staff. I mean, to evaluate those options that may not be immediately observable, but to take those into consideration. In this particular case, where well 17 is situated, it makes sense to keep the interior tanks where they are in pump station number 6. But more importantly, the concrete itself is actually in really good shape. So it's the coating that's bad, but the underlying concrete is actually very good, because the original application of the coating was good, which protected the underlying concrete. So once we remove the existing coating, we should have a really good concrete surface that will last many, many more years.
Okay. And I assume the same is true for the pump itself and the viability of the aquifer that it's pumping from.
Yeah.
Now you're going. In general, the statement was correct.
Okay. Thank you.
Good. Anything else? Action by the council?
I'll introduce the resolution.
Councilmember O'Connell.
Aye.
Councilmember Medina.
Aye.
Councilmember Ibarra.
Aye.
Vice Mayor Salazar.
Aye.
Mayor Ruane.